What's up guys, welcome to Clash Royale. Today I'm going to be giving you the most basic tips you could possibly have on how to build a very strong, successful deck. Now there's a lot of people starting out Clash Royale right now, and if you're one of them, you've come to the right video. And today I'm going to be telling you how to build a good deck and what makes a good deck. So I'm going to be going over a bunch of tips. So number one, have a deck that is relevant in your meta. For example, right now at 4,000 there's a lot of tanks and there's a lot of bait. So bait decks as in things that bait out zap and arrows and fireball. So to counter that, you would usually have tanks because they can absorb all the chip damage. And in my meta it's very relevant to have air units because there's a lot of balloons coming around right now. And because this deck is very expensive, I have the elixir pump so that it can keep me with the positive elixir trades and with the elixir advantage. So this deck is relevant in my meta. And if you take for example Builder's Workshop, this Hog Cycle deck with the trifecta Hog, Musketeer, and Valkyrie is very relevant, even though it's not very relevant as of today because it has gone out of the meta because there's too many counters. But if you think about it, it's an extremely balanced deck with air attacking troops and a win condition. And that brings me to number two. You should have a win condition. So the win condition is basically the card that does the majority of the damage. For example, you have the Hawk Rider in this deck, and you have the Lava Hound as a win condition, although it doesn't do much damage. It's the balloon that does it. But the Lava Hound is still the win condition because that's what the deck is based around. For example, in this deck, you have the win condition as a graveyard. And number three, you want to have enough splash troops. So in this deck, I have Ice Golem and Poison. Ice Golem to take out the Skeleton Armies, Poison to take out Goblin Gang and Minion Horde minions, and I have Electro Wizard that can deal with swarms pretty well. And in this deck, I have Zap and Poison and Valkyrie. In this deck, I have Fireball and Fire Spirits. So if you need to have ample amount of AoE damage to be able to take out all the swarms. Number four, you need to have air defense. So for this deck, you have Electro Wizard and minions. And also this is very dependent on your meta, because if you're around 1600, you won't see as many balloons. But if you're up around 3000 to 4000, you will start to see a lot of balloons. So I have minions for that in this deck, which is my main deck. So I have minions and Mega Minion, Fire Spirits, Grey Goblins, and Fireball. So all of those can counter air, and that is extremely important because where I'm playing there's a lot of balloons. So I'm gonna have a hard time unless I have all these cards. And number five, you want to be able to play the deck according to how it's supposed to be played. Now this might seem confusing at first, but every deck is its own archetype. So this Lava Hound deck that I'm using right now is a tank archetype. So that means you want to build up elixir by dropping elixir pumps, and you want to drop your tank in the back and support it. Now, this means that with this archetype, you will not just drop Spirit Goblins at the bridge and try to chip away the opponent, because that is not how the deck is built, and if you play that way, you are going to lose. And with this archetype, personally how I like to play it is not to stop all the damage, but to mitigate the damage and prevent it, but end up using less elixir than my opponent, so I have more elixir to build a huge push. In contrast, this deck is more of a chip cycle deck, which means you keep throwing your push at them because you cycle through the cards very quickly, so you can keep dropping Hog Rider at your opponent. So for example, by the time I make one Lava Hound push, I would have had my opponent, if he was using this deck, he would have made at least 3 Hog Rider pushes. So this deck plays completely differently, as in you try to chip your opponent out and you don't try to go in for one huge push that takes the tower out, because that's not how the cards are built. And the third deck is slightly different because it's slightly in the middle of the Hog deck and the Lava Hound deck, because it is a graveyard deck where it can chip the tower, but also it can take it out if you go in for a big push. So this deck plays either way. So those have been all my tips for this video, and hope you guys enjoyed it. And make sure to check out all 3 of these decks. This is my personal favorite, my Lava Loon deck that I did show in my previous video, and is extremely strong and works perfectly in the current meta. And the Hog Rider deck, even though it's not totally irrelevant, is good for lower arenas. And if you do have the Graveyard and Electro Wizard, be sure to try this out. It is a great fall win deck, and so is this Lava Hound deck. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you learned how to build a deck from this video, and hopefully your decks will be better, and you will be winning more, and you will get to your goal in Clash Royale. And I will see you guys later. Peace.